Hello again, my friends. Eric Pearson here with another demonstration of HARDSPACE SHIPBREAKER. Now, if you saw my last video, then you saw that my first attempt to dismantle a Javelin-class cargo ship did not go so well. Shortly after cutting open one airlock, it actually acted like a giant jet thruster and pushed the entire ship nose down into the barge. And at first I thought it was a matter of buggy physics engine, but it was in truth the fact that I did not properly vent everything I needed to. So that was my mistake, my apologies there. So, as a certain cartoon moose would say, "This time for sure."
Account credit applied.
Okay, so I've already cut off the antenna. Now we're going to cut off this amplifier with explosives. Tether it up. Drag it down to the barge. So I'm going to try and work as efficiently as I can, but I also don't want to be sloppy and make mistakes either, so... Usually with the javelins, it's wise to start from the outside and work inward. So drag these cargo pods down. Okay, good. That one's gonna get dragged down. Okay, another demolition charge.
Credits deposited. Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Okay, on to the third and final large antenna.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied. Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Okay, next step is to cut loose these cargo pods,
Salvage secured.
and then we'll move on to the giant fuel tank. Okay, now this tank is tricky. You have to do things just a certain way. The first thing we have to do is activate the shutoff on the pump, like so. Alright, now the pump is connected to the four engines, and it's also connected to this gigantic fuel tank. We have to cut the pump free from the tank so that we can tether the tank and drag it down. But we have to cut this just right. We don't want to cut it too far away because otherwise the tank will jam. But if we do this wrong, we'll blow up the tank. So here we go. Good, just the way we need it. Alright, next step is we've got some bars here that we have to cut loose. Again, so that we can drag the tank straight down. So here's one bar. We can just let that float free. And then we have a counterpart here. I'm going to cut upward away from the fuel pipe. Okay, good. And then one more. Okay, good. Now, next step is we have this large gray disc. Just like last time, I want to gently pull that away. Just a little bit. Now to activate the tether and drag this straight down like a great big elevator car Bye-bye. See ya. Bottom floor. Thank you. Enjoy your day. Alright, so next step is I want to try and gently, if I can, move this flat disc.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Yeah. And we want to drag this down just like the fuel tank. Come on, down you go. Don't jam. Okay, good. So that's going straight down. Alright, good. Next step is we want to cut the fuel pump free from these pipes.
Credits transferred.
I want to be careful about this. I don't want to accidentally wing the crew area and cause a decompression. Okay, that's 2 pipes. Let's do 3 and 4. I don't want to cut too close to the pump itself, otherwise it will cause an explosion. Okay, so that's loose. Now to cut loose the engines. So cutting at these 4 points here, and then we'll cut the fuel pipe itself close to the engine. So here we go. Uh-oh. The pipes are... I gotta cut this loose before this becomes too big a problem. That's better. Okay, now repeat for the lower starboard side engine. Okay, good, and then cut it free like so. Good. Okay, let's use some tethers and pull these down to the barge.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied. Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Okay, we got 1 pipe loose, but that's okay. Okay. Got the engines loose, so let's drag them on down. Alright, so now that we've got the engines loose, let's get these fuel pipes out of the way. So let's get some tethers going here.
Credits transferred.
Just drag it away. And now we'll repeat for this one. A little bit of fuel leakage, but not too horrible.
Caution. Tether supplies running low.
Okay, here's the fuel pump. Like a giant heart. Good. And 1 pipe left. Great. Did that pretty well, and we've got 4 tethers left. Alright. So now that that's done, let's take a moment and open up the front crew section. Now, cutting into this airlock last time is what did me in, or at least doing it without making sure that we were not fully vented. So I'm going to have to be very careful about that. Alright, so here we are inside. Let's activate the regulator.
Air pressure level decreasing.
Okay, let's make our way to the
Airlock pressure
cockpit.
levels dropping. Airlock pressure levels increasing.
Okay, good. Now we'll decompress here.
Air pressure level decreasing.
Now, I want to point out that I don't plan to dismantle every individual computer terminal, chair, piece of
Airlock
furniture.
pressure levels
You all
dropping.
know how to do that. The purpose of this video is to demonstrate the general strategy of taking apart one of these ships completely. Now, see, this door is still open. Or closed, I should say. That was my mistake. Okay, venting the front section of the ship now. That's okay. Alright, so what have we got here? We've got some doors still closed. I want to make sure everything's
Airlock pressure
open.
levels dropping.
Okay, so now we're open into space, looking out the back. That's the forward part of the ship. I want to make sure this is open.
Airlock pressure levels dropping.
Okay, now we're open to space on top. Okay, good. Alright, so next thing I want to do is pull loose this heat sink, break out our cutter, and let's open the front of the ship like the lid on a can. Good. Alright. Let's give this thing a little bit of a push. And use a tether and drag it off to the processor. And we're low on tethers anyway, and thruster fuel, so I'm just going to burn one of these. It's a little easier to drag the heat sinks this way.
Valuable
Actually,
object
come to think of it,
Credits awarded.
okay, we got some power cells here. I'll have to watch out for that. So let's make a cut here. Good. Let's use one of these tethers and pull this one ring-shaped section away. Might as well. Okay, good. And while I'm thinking about it, let's see, I want to make sure that one airlock is open on the inside. Yes, it is. Okay. We got one tether left. Might as well put it to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some cuts here and here, and then down low I'm going to cut the cockpit free, and
Purchase valuable object.
I'm going to drag it up to one of these large jacks for further dismantling later.
You're out of tethers. Get yourself over to the kiosk to buy some more.
Okay, so that's good.
Welcome to Vendatron 9000. Thank you for your...
Tethers restored.
Okay, so far so good. Let's check the work order. All we really need to do is salvage metal, and a lot of it. But you know what? While these are here, I'm going to pull out these power cells. And as I said in one of my previous videos,
Salvage secured.
when I
Credit applied.
launch these power cells down into the barge, I don't want them to hit anything else, because if they hit anything else on the way down, they'll be destroyed. And if you have a work order objective dependent on salvaging X number of power cells, you might fail it. So,
Salvage secured. Credit deposited. Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
okay, that's all the power cells. That's good. Alright, so next thing I'm going to do is cut loose this airlock on the side. Now let's see, did I miss one? Yeah, I don't think I missed one. So what I should be able to do now is use the push function of my grapple gun and just gently push this away. Yeah, just like that. So I'm going to just line my shot up right and send that to the processor. Then meanwhile, as for you, down to the barge you go. Like I said, I could pull off the levers, the control panels, but you all know how to do that, so I'm just showing you my general strategy. Alright, I'm going to look one last time. Is this door open? Yes. So that means that this should be still fully vented out, which is what I want. Alright, so what I'm going to do to help move this along a little faster is I'm going to plant a demolition charge sideways and cut this one ring section in two. Yep, just like that. Okay, now to break out the cutter.
Object accepted for processing. Credits deposited.
Okay, well, I'm still pointed straight ahead. I haven't started sinking yet. Because this is the moment where things went wrong. And they're not. Thankfully. Alright, good. Alright, next step, let's try... If we do this right, we might be able to pull the airlock, pull it right off the airlock. Yeah, just like that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Splendid.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Okay, that's good. Alright, so the next step, we have this one whole square section, and if we really wanted to salvage every individual piece of equipment in there, we could, but in the interest of time, we're not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that whole box free. Whoop. Okay, looks like this section is almost free. Not quite, but close. Alright, good. Now, let's see if we can just take this whole square section and move it to one of the other jacks. So that maybe if we wanted to fully dismantle it piece by piece later, we could. So there it is, one whole square section. That's right, I eat 3 square meals a day.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Alright, that's good.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Now let's see if we can cut these sections away. Now let's see if we can pull this one ring section away. If not, then it's not the end of the world. We'll come back to it later. But let's just see if this works. No, we may have to either cut or use explosives, but I don't want to unduly mess things up. Because if you use explosives the wrong way, I've learned you can actually vault the remainder of the ship all the way to the back. And speaking of the back, this is a good place to stop. So join me next time as we do the back section of this ship. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Eric Pearson, signing off.